Hello, welcome to Mosaics of Eastern Wonderland, episode 6!
Woo! Yeah! Woo! Oh, so amazing! This is a great series. Woo.
Yay!
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not sure how is the reception. Like everybody, like my friends, they always talk about. My friends, they usually only talk about Erotic Symposium, and I haven't seen everybody talk about this series.
This Toho is a pretty niche.
It seems like this is like
Toho is a pretty niche series. It's not like everyone knows the doujins we're talking about. So it would make sense that nobody really talks about this series, like at all.
Well, no one even mentioned this podcast series we're doing. Like what we know for is the Erotic Symposium.
I mean, because it's the first podcast we did, and it's also the podcast that doesn't really have a niche topic to like talk about. Toho is a very niche topic. Toho doujins, specific doujins, are also an even more niche topic.
But I don't know any Toho podcast series.
There are a few, but most of them die out very quickly, and they're always
okay. Then I'm sure we would also die out very quickly.
We must keep the spirit going.
Yeah, totally. We have to keep it going.
Die, please. Oh no.
Yeah, but so I'm not sure of the receptions of our series. It feels even weirder to do this than Erotic Symposium because I totally don't know about the reception.
In that case, we don't know what's the problem with this series.
It's like staring at the wall.
Is it staring at the abyss?
But,
not the wall.
Okay, it's like staring at the abyss, but I feel like this has more of a topic going on compared to the other one, which is I think is a good thing. Even if it's niche, but niche, still we have a topic going on.
At the very least, there's a focus, not a topic. There's a focus to it.
Yeah, there's a focus.
And what is the focus today? The focus today.
What is the focus today?
In the last few episodes.
Okay, so
motherfucker.
So who's doing? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
you do it.
Fuck off.
You do it.
I shove you away. I'm gonna do it. So in the last few episodes, in the last few episodes, we were talking about Toho fan anime. Toho fan anime, we fucking hated it. Hated both of them.
And a fighting game.
There was the fighting
game idea.
The fighting game idea,
by
yes.
Jordan.
Which technically isn't. I haven't put any mechanics into it, but it was only there for like.
Yeah, and
it's only there for.
I care more about game mechanics.
Fan service appeal. Now, though, today we are going to be talking about a Toho doujin, a drawn doujin, manga doujin. Wow.
An authentic hash doujin.
What? We're not talking about we're not talking about hash doujin. No, YouTube, we are not doing that. We're safe kids. We're super clean. This is a Christian podcast. We serve our Lord God. We're
I have a question, Jordan. Have you read Hash Doujin Staring Kogasa before?
Yes, quite a few times.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Why are you asking me this now? What the fuck?
I got curious all of a sudden.
Do you then? What? I'll shoot the fucking question back. Do you? Huh?
No, I have not seen a Kogasa Hash Doujin before.
Then.
No.
Okay then.
Yeah. So.
And
as you
have, some of you may have noticed, because we talked about Kogasa, you might as well have noticed that we are talking about a more Kogasa-oriented doujin series. It is let's say a 5 arc, maybe 2 to 3 arcs, 2-3 spin-offs.
I remember I say there's 10 chapters. And when I told you, I think this has 10 chapters in total.
Let's assume we could assume that it has 10 chapters. This is a quote-unquote 10 chapter, or at least 10 part story by Warugaki. Or maybe SK-2 for some of you people who didn't know he changed his, I guess, an alias. This is Do Your Best, Kogasa-Chan, with 2 exclamation marks in the back. Do Your Best Kogasa-Chan is basically... Okay, first of all, I think you have to know one thing. The narrative for the story is a bit wacky. It goes around the place, in a sense. The first 2 parts, technically, 2 parts, as documented by Danburo, the first 2 parts of Do Your Best Kogasa-Chan by Warugaki is basically about Kogasa trying to scare people, because that's what she's usually doing. That's what most people see her to be doing most of the time. That's what they associate her with.
That's what she does in the lore
as well. But in terms of how much she does it, I suppose we could. It's up to interpretation. In here, she tries to scare a few notable characters, and she fails. The first part is, of course, more or less like multiple different characters. She's trying to scare them. The second part is a sort of a short sequel to that. It's a pretty big sequel too, but it's a funny sequel.
I think it's like commemorate on it
commemorates 10 Desires
for the second one.
Because Kogasa does appear in 10 Desires as like a mid-boss, if I recall correctly. Toho 13, yes. Toho 13. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's Total 13.
The third
10
part
Desires
is hanging there Kogasa-Chan dash charge into the SDM next door. From the name, you can already tell that the narrative has gone off to a very different direction. In here, Kogasa...
So let's just say...
Yes.
What? Okay, I can agree. Let's just say the first 2 part is comedy, mainly comedy. And then the second and 4th part is like a more serious story.
No, technically the second part of the story with Yomu and stuff, the one where she tried to scare Yomu, that is still comedy.
I think
that is very absurdist comedy. It is.
I say it's still comedy. The first and second part are comedy.
Said the second and
the third and fourth become more serious.
That's what you said.
The first and second are comedy.
The third part is technically, there is drama in there. There is some drama. There's some heartbreaking drama in there. But it still keeps in line with Warugaki's sense of comedy. This third and fourth part, and also the fifth part, because the third, fourth, and fifth part are basically in the same narrative thread, is basically about Kogasa somehow I don't know how to explain it, actually. It's a bit hard to explain it without sounding a bit weird.
She just got in. She just
into the SDM, the Scarlet Devil Mansion,
Flandre.
Because she saved.
Yeah,
because
she just got into.
She saved
SDM.
Flandre from the sun. She's an umbrella, so of course she'd do that. Flandre falls in love with her, tries to marry her, does so in this third part of the story. In the fourth part, it's basically more, how Kogasa is living in the Scarlet Devil Mansion with all of the wacky characters that Warugaki seems to have interpreted from the EOSD characters. There's in the second half of the fourth part, it becomes more serious. In the fifth...
I think it's already serious in the third part.
In the third part...
I think it's only serious in the third part.
There is a serious note to it, but it is not as strong as the second half. There is still comedy in it. The fourth part is, if I remember correctly, there technically is...
No. The third and fourth part are serious, and then as well as having a lot of... how should I say? As well as having a lot of...
comedic timing.
Comedies.
But the third part, I don't believe it is majority serious. I still think the third part is...
What do you mean by majority serious?
What do you fucking think it means? I don't see it. I don't see it as a serious part. I still see it as comedy. Even though, yes, there is serious.
I heard you say serious, like S-E-R-I-E-S.
No, what the fuck?
I heard you say that.
Serious.
Okay.
The third part is not not serious. The second half of the fourth part is more serious.
I think they are equally serious. It's just that the fourth part has more stakes at the end.
More stakes, yeah. The fifth part, which I guess the both of us aren't the most familiar with because it's not too memorable, even though it is, if I remember correctly, it is still pretty funny, is basically more...
No, I don't remember anything.
It's more comedic. It's just comedy. It is basically a sort of a...
It's just omakase.
Let's call it omakase. It's basically funny after stories.
Hold on.
Yes.
there is something more. There's like a few flashbacks in the 5th part that I don't remember at all. You remember it?
I remember a few, I guess.
There is some flashback. Yep. There's some flashback about, but it's not translated, and then it's in Japanese. But I'm lazy to read it because I'm not that into this doujin. I'm sorry.
You bitch.
Yeah, but there's a few untranslated chapters. It's like Remedia's. I think it's Remedia's monologue.
Yeah, there is a part where Remedia
about her life with Flandre. So there is some serious part, but it's like not so important. It's like most of these are omake.
I don't know whether or not it's a good idea to say that.
It's like
I don't know whether
something. It's like side notes. Let's say it's like a side note.
I don't know whether or not it's a good idea.
It's like side notes to close up of the. What? Okay, what do you want to say?
It's a good
what do you
idea
want to say?
Actually say that it doesn't really mean anything because in the grand scheme of things, it does flesh.
Yes,
it does flesh
things.
out Warugaki's interpretation of the two characters of Flandre and of Remelia. It does flesh them out. Which I very much appreciate.
That is why I say it's more of a side note. It's like a side note.
Here's a side note.
It's like the main story is ended. It's like the main story is ended, and then here's some side things that I couldn't add in the main manga. So enjoy it. Like they really let you know more about the stories a little bit more. It's kind of like, like a lore book.
I mean, I guess.
Or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose if you are interested in the series, the 5th part is a very nice surprise. Quite a bit of stuff to read about. But if you aren't interested in it, then yes, I don't think it's compulsory to put yourself through it.
I say you have to read it. Even if you want to get into this series, the 5th part is definitely essential. Even if both of us don't remember what we have read.
I don't think it is, though, because, as you said, it is very much omake-based. If you have read up to the 4th part of the story, it technically is fine.
I take back my word. I think it's a side note.
Okay, it's a side note.
I think it's a side note instead of omake, because omake mostly is for fun. But this one has some. They flesh out a bit more.
I think there's a better way to say it. Let's just say an epilogue or something. Epilogue episode, something. I don't know, something other than omake or side note.
No, I won't say it's epilogue. Because some of them. Maybe the first few pages are epilogue. Because it's like they have to open, I think a cafe, something at the, and they open a summer festival in front of their mansion because Reimu tells them to. Okay, this is like spoiler alert at this point, but who cares? Yeah, so like they open the summer festival, and it happens right after the previous manga. So there's epilogue, I guess, and then there is the monologue by Remelia. She's pretty serious. And then
I think there's one last gag at the end. Where Flandre and Remelia become little kids. It's super cute.
Okay, that looks like omake.
That is
okay, omake. Fine. So it's like epilogue, omake, and then side notes. Whatever it is, that the Warugaki just throw everything in this final part. Yeah, so it's like, so it's more side material. Yeah, it's more side material. It's a side material. It's a side material.
Totes side material.
Yeah.
But then again, I do like Warugaki's work, so yes, I will read it. I have read it.
Yeah, I don't know about Warugaki until this guy showed Warugaki to me.
Because Warugaki is one of the best artists out there. He's insane.
Wow, that's what he says. I don't have a strong feeling as this guy. Yeah, but I did check out Warugaki after Jordan showed him to me. Like I read the one by who is it again? Oh man,
Oh no.
my Toho lore is getting rusty.
The one about.
One with Tenshi,
Tenshi.
and then
Yuka?
and no, yes, Yuka, yeah, Tenshi and Yuka. Those I did read those manga.
Nice.
Like it's like those. I think it's more revolved. It's more between Tenshi and Yuka.
Yep.
Yeah, that one I remember I quite enjoyed it, and then I also stumbled upon this one, and then I read it, and then that's it. I just say I can get to the end compared to other doujins. Like back when Jordan showed this artist to me, a lot of doujins I tend to just drop halfway because I couldn't get into them. They are like way too boring. But this one I can get to the end, which is like at the time it's like a rarity.
Really?
So yeah, that's good, I guess. I like Warugaki's art. He tend to redesign the characters a hell lot.
I mean, it's not bad though.
And even in this,
it is.
No, it's not bad. I never say it's bad. Yeah, it's cool. It's like that is his art style. I like Warugaki. I like when Warugaki draw actions, which happens in the Yuka and Tenshi manga.
Yeah, he has very good
and
like panel composition.
It's like bombastic.
He is very nice. He has a very nice way of angles and stuff. Very good.
Yeah, I like when he draws actions. His actions. Yeah. And then anyway, so let's talk about this doujin. I just say I probably do not like this doujin as much as Jordan.
Because you're a scrub piece of shit who doesn't understand good art.
Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. First, I would say I like the first two parts. Actually, I like the first two parts more so than the last three parts. Because
Monster.
I enjoy. Let's just say I enjoy the comedies more in the first two parts. I just like their comedies, and then the last three parts I don't really enjoy the comedy, nor do I enjoy their serious story.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then it's after I finish it, I told you that I don't feel that reading this whole series. I don't have interest for it. So I just like I just get it done, and then I just ask Jordan like, okay, when are we doing this? I just finish it. I don't feel like reading it for research reason. I don't feel like researching more. I just get this done. Yeah.
Bitch.
So the first two parts is like Kogasa fuck around, and then I see her suffer.
You like suffering,
insufferably.
you monster. She only wants to scare people.
I won't say that.
No.
She only wants to scare people, but she usually fails, and it's not all the jokes land,
Yep.
but some of them did land. Like the first one, the Aya.
Yep, first one's by Aya.
The Aya one doesn't really work for me.
It doesn't work for me as well, but I do at the very least enjoy what is technically happening. I understand what is the point. I like the execution of what happens. I like I do like, again, this is one of his older works, so I do like how he draws a lot of the action lines, all of this movement. The payoff is also very good. I also still like his paneling, even at the time. Very nice stuff from him.
It is one of his early work. Is it like one? This one is like first manga, first doujin?
No, I don't think so. He has older stuff. I think the Yuka one is older, actually, if I remember correctly.
No, but you can't actually appear in this chapter. You can't Tenshi.
Yes, they do appear, but my question though would also come down to, I don't remember when they are all released though.
When
they are technically, they look like different parts. I don't know whether or not they're released at the same time, like in like one doujin book or something. I need to check.
It's actually possible to check, but it's very inconvenient to do so in Danburu.
No, you just check the dates, I think.
Yeah.
But then again, the dates are rounded out to years.
Oh.
And both of them came out in the same year. So
No, you can hover over it. You can hover over it. So it's like 2010 apparently.
2010, yeah.
2010. Let's see the second part.
2010, the second part of this.
It's also 2010?
What is the date? Is the date?
No, 2011. It's after a year.
Okay. In that...
Let's see. The third part and the fourth part.
When I meant the parts, I meant the part in the first gag part of the story.
What the fuck?
Do your best, Kogasa-Chan.
What the fuck are you talking about?
By Warugaki, where she meets
Aya. What was it? What's with it?
She meets Yami.
Yeah.
I was wondering to myself, was the first part with Aya technically earlier than the part with Yuka? In terms of like their release schedule. Are they released in the same doujin, or were they released as separate small things?
Released in the same doujin? What? Released in the same doujin?
Now that I think of it, because I was wondering, was it released in a dojo, or did Warugaki released it on like Pixiv or something as like different separate parts? Because I don't remember whether or not it's the Yuka one came out at the same time. I need to check on that.
Well, I can check out the Warugaki's Pixiv page. I didn't know he has a Pixiv page.
If I remember correctly, yes, he has a Pixiv. Does he have a Pixiv?
Yeah, he has a Pixiv page. Yeah. And there's a
other than that, he at least know he
stuff.
has many different. He actually has quite a few older doujins, quite a few before this one.
Oh, it's pretty early. Like Kogasa's doujin.
Pretty early, but he has
pretty early.
He has a pretty big library of doujins that he has written.
Yeah, so the first part can actually be read on Pixiv, but they are like that all the gags they are like separated into multiple works. I just say it's separated into multiple works. And they are not translated as expected because it's Pixiv. But I just say you can actually read them. You can read them in the Pixiv.
You can.
If you know Japanese.
He has quite a few things in the Pixiv that still haven't been translated, I think. A bit disappointing, yeah.
I totally don't know about this. Should I research this? Yeah, but it seems that the Kogasa's doujin is the first one that pops up in his Pixiv page. I think. But no, well, kinda is because like I seen some very very short manga panels before Kogasa's doujin. Oh wait, I see Yuka's. Okay, let's see. Okay, anyway. Anyway, the first part, like I like the first part and the second part more, and then yeah, the third part, and then do you notice that the third and fourth part?
Yeah, what happened?
They are more like a harem story.
You could technically call it that.
You think that?
But I don't know whether or not you could call it a harem story. You could say there is romance elements in there.
Yes, some harem.
No, a harem is a lot larger. A harem is a lot larger than just two fucking people.
But it's just structured like harem for me. To me, it's just structured like harem. Yeah, you're right. Harem can have more. They usually have more than two people, but they still have multiple girls who want her dick.
I don't even know if Remilia actually just wants Kogasa in that way, though. To those who are listening and who don't
I
understand,
think yes.
In the story, at a certain point, Kogasa has to beat Remilia to either, I guess, survive and get Flandre, and I guess get her blessing for Flandre, because Flandre really likes her for some reason. Kogasa does beat Remilia through some fluke with her weather powers, I guess. The sun, flowing water in the form of rain. Vampires don't like that. She beats Remilia. Remilia, I guess, gags out of it and just says something about, also marrying her. And that happens. Ooh.
No, but this jokes persists up to the final page in the 5th part. Like, have you seen the final page in the 5th part?
I've seen the final page in the 5th part.
It's like, well,
we could actually
assume Flandre and Remilia and then Kogasa, they stick together.
Is it a harem though? Two people. Is it? I mean, I suppose
it's two people sleeping on the bed.
No, but is it a harem? Is there a better term for this? Because I imagine a harem to be like quite a few people.
Okay, polygamy relationship. I suppose
a polygamous or polyamorous relationship.
Polyamorous.
Even though Kogasa doesn't really, I guess, put as much focus on Remilia as she does Flandre. But we could assume there is some...
Well, okay, and then there's also this other thing. Kogasa becomes masculine. He becomes, not masculine, he acts like a harem protagonist from the third part.
This is because she's literally put in the position where she has to. She becomes a fucking butler in like the 4th part. She's introduced to be
No. Even before that, even before he becomes a butler.
You mean in terms of his role in the story? In terms of his role in the story.
Yeah, his role even before he comes into.
Why do we keep saying his? It's her. Kogasa is a her. Why are we saying his?
Because she looks like a guy.
She is drawn like a guy. There's a certain stylistic, stylistic choice.
Her design.
Warugaki has chosen. How do you say it? Because it's not technically the most masculine. It's almost slightly unisex, actually. You can't say she has more that cool protagonist masculine trait.
She's not as cute anymore. She's not as cute anymore, and she looks more like a guy.
I would come to believe that
I think she becomes more like a guy.
I would come to believe that that happened on like the 2nd part of the entire act.
No, okay. The first and second part, she still looks like a girl, and she looks like very cute and very moe. And then the third part onwards, she looks more like a guy.
The second part, she does look at the very least slightly more sharper than the first part. It is still distinctly girlish, but in the 3rd and 4th part, it starts blending away, like the two how you perceive genders, I guess, aesthetically. It starts blending in a bit. It becomes a bit hard to really, how should I say it? It becomes a bit hard to. Let's just say yes.
Wow. Yeah, because the third and fourth part, I just say she becomes less of a girl. She looks less of a girl.
I mean, I would come
and
to
then
believe
in the second part,
I come to believe, artistically, it would make more sense for her art style, because Warugaki is very good with like mimicking art styles and stuff, and he has a very impeccable way of doing his art, so he can very easily change. I would come to believe, if I was Warugaki, it would make more sense for me to artistically choose to draw Kogasa in a more either masculine or unisex sort of way. Give her like a bit sharper.
Why? Okay,
her proportions are different. Because, as you said before, she is in the role of a more harem-esque protagonist. It would make more... And especially one who is seen to be...
No. Well, okay, fine. Sure, like, let's say maybe Warugaki really want to draw a harem-esque story, so he wants a harem protagonist, so he draws Kogasa in this way. Okay. Well, in the second part, Kogasa did have a redesign, but she still looks like a girl very much. So, yeah, it just in part forward, and then she looks more like a boy. And let's just say the design doesn't click with me at all. like because like Toho is like all like 99.9% of characters in Toho are girls. So I actually find with a Yuri polygamy relationship, but Warugaki just turned Kogasa into a guy,
to what
so
looks
to make it
into
not
what
like
is
very much a
perceived
Yuri.
as more male in terms of like how she is
Yeah.
drawn, not how she looks like she is, just how she's drawn in general, aesthetically, sharper,
Yeah, so
different proportions, that kind of stuff.
yeah, and then also remember at the end of part 4, Kogasa becomes a guy, and then
Mind you,
I just assume even if it's a gag, even if it's a joke, this actually happened in the Warugaki's universe.
It happens in the story. It is canon in Warugaki's universe that happened. Whether or not it continues on, whether or not it has long-lasting effects, it's a bit hard to say because I don't think. Do they mention it in the 5th part again? That Kogasa has become a guy?
No, they never mention it again in the 5th
that
part.
Case, it would...
So I just say Warugaki is permanently a guy.
I will come to say that the gender swap is basically just a gag for like one point in time, and I will come to believe Kogasa is still a girl in the 5th part. Maybe she reverted back or something. Though, if they were to say that Kogasa is still a guy, then I would totally accept it. Like, okay, she never changed back. Who cares?
Yeah, but there's also the thing that when she turned into a guy at the end, she still looks the same.
Because her design her design is so simplistically unisex. So you can be a girl with slightly male-ish features, or you can be a guy, but you look a bit squishy, there's a girlishness to it. She is literally in the fine line between looking just like a girl and looking just like a guy. So in a sense, it's very easy to just go, gender swap. Now you have a dick, but you technically totally look the same. Or, now you have a vagina, but you're the same as well.
Okay, let's just say... something about unisex. I think this is something interesting. Because let's just say I like tomboy. Mm-hmm. I would think for tomboy and I would think for gender bender. But for this one, I cannot say Kogasa is something along those lines, like those in the boundary. I just feel like Kogasa, this design, she is very much a guy. For me, she looks very much a guy. Her design. Instead of like unisex.
I suppose you could interpret it to say that yes, he is a very young look. She is a very young looking guy. Very young looking. Yeah, there's a girlishness to it, but if you
I don't think she has act like a girl. I don't recall she acts anything like a girl in the 3rd and 4th part.
Because she has become technically the so-called straight man of the story. Straight men don't always have to be men, but straight men of the story are usually the people who are the most sane out of everything. They are the odd one out in the world of insanity. And in Warugaki's Scarlet Devil Mansion, everything is a bit insane, a bit crazy in terms of like scales and stuff. It's a bit weird, right?
The holy shit, the complete redesign of STM characters.
STM redesign is fucking wonderful. I like how imaginative it is.
Right.
Yeah, it does things.
Like the Petrolis one is insane.
Petrolis one is actually very.
I like the Petrolis
one is very.
I like Petrolis
very
one.
Unique take on Petroli. It takes the fact that she is ill, and looks at the fact that she's also super knowledgeable, and he just goes, what if she could just use all that magic, all that alchemy and shit, and just go crazy with it? And Warugaki just poops out with this new Petroli. Actually, Petroli, if I remember correctly, is a very big reference to Full Metal Alchemist, because she does alchemy. The fucking gate from the Full Metal Alchemist series comes up. It exists in Warugaki's story.
Hold on first.
Yeah.
hold on first. I have to say, I don't think Patchouli never once used alchemy in the original Toho lore. She only does it in this doujin.
Because I guess in his interpretation, the alchemy side works best, if only because alchemy is based. The alchemy here is actually just a reference to Fullmetal Alchemist, and even the aesthetic is itself, like of her reconstructing her head and stuff like that. There is a part where she has to reconstruct her head because of some gag. It is very much like Fullmetal Alchemist's way of constructing stuff. I guess pretty cool. Patchouli has one of the best redesigns. Sakuya doesn't really get much of a redesign at all. Other than the fact that Warugaki's art style of drawing Sakuya rather sharply, in terms of
So what do you mean by sharply?
I don't even know how to say it. In my head, I keep imagining a certain character who has very sharp features, pointy chin. The hair is very uniform. And I suppose the character is also... There's a certain slimness, I guess. Lean, slim.
Like Mei Ling also actually doesn't...
Mei Ling doesn't get a
much.
She does only get a... She only gets a rework based on just her role. Rather than being the one who's standing outside the gate, she literally becomes a fucking
and she has
dog.
a collar.
Yes, she's literally a dog.
Yeah, she acts like a pet. Dog. She acts like a guard dog. Yeah.
And for some reason, Warugaki thought it was a good idea to give the Scarlet Devil Mansion two giant demonic-looking dogs as well. Yeah, I suppose it fits them. I suppose
I think they are all part of the
it
gag.
fits the Scarlet Devil Mansion's design thematically. It does because
it fits very well. Like when they first introduced the Scarlet Devil Mansion, I think that's a great panel.
Yeah, it's a very nice composition on
the page where they first introduced. That's fucking great.
Very nice.
I sent it to you.
I know. I know what it looks like, motherfucker. I've seen that panel quite a few times already.
Yeah. That as much as I don't really like this doujin series, that the panel is great. The introduction panel. Hey, I just praised the doujin I don't really like. What do you want?
Liking it is one thing I want.
Yeah. Anyway.
What about Remilia and Flandre?
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's just say I like the fight between Kogasa and Remilia. Like the first time it actually got me.
It was so out of it, really. Pretty funny. Let's continue talking about redesigns. We haven't talked about Remilia and Flandre's redesign.
Well, they become adults.
They became adults. They have one of the craziest redesigns. Not crazy, sorry. That's a very bad way of saying it. They have one of the more radical redesigns. Because rather than just sticking with their original aesthetic of them being like the size of, I guess, children, or just maybe young teenagers or something, Remilia and Flandre were redesigned to be adults. Very hot-looking adults. Yeah! I'm sorry.
How they become adults?
There's actually quite a few smaller changes as well, like in terms of in terms of what they wear. Very different from what their canon.
I think Flandre has the most redesign.
Flandre has the most redesign. Remilia sticks to her aesthetic very well. She still wears the long dress.
Yeah,
she still wears.
I feel like Flandre is wearing a school uniform.
Technically, it should be.
I feel like Flandre is wearing a school uniform.
Or at the very least, just a short skirt. Very reminiscent of these kinds of short-skirted school uniforms that you may see in, I guess, like other mangas or doujins from Japan. But I don't really know how to bring this up, but at one point we find out Remilia doesn't really have wings per se, but her wings are like hidden beneath this seal that she has placed on her back, and she could like summon them out, like these crazy black wings or something like that, which is very cool and a very interesting way of interpreting how Remilia's wings work. What do you think about that? Or do you not remember that being the case?
Oh, I don't remember it at all. But that I remember that Remilia's wing changed size throughout the original lore. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's large.
Let's just say it's very flexible in terms of how.
Yeah, and June doesn't. I don't think June has comment on that, so we don't know whether how does her wing work. What is the science behind her wings in the original lore?
I suppose Warugaki. Wait, sorry.
Wait, okay. Let me check a manga first, and try to keep the audience busy. Yeah, I need to check the manga. Like Silent Singer in Blue, Remilia plays an important role. I need to see how her wings work in that manga.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know that she has an important role.
I know she has an important role. I remember it being mentioned quite a lot.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to her wings at the time.
The monster.
Even though I read it twice. I read it like twice.
Oh dear.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? When I'm just checking. Okay. So I see Remilia. Okay. So Remilia's wing is just there. Throughout the manga, it's just her wing is just there. And let me check the one where she fights one of the sisters, the moon sister. Let's see. Is this the one? Oh, okay. Is it Remilia? Oh yeah.
Is it?
Okay, so her wings become smaller during the fight with the sister, Yorihime, I think. Yeah, like I was saying to you, like you can see their size difference between the wings. So just say it's either inconsistent or she can control it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, yeah. What anything you want to talk about?
Not really. Something just came up. Never mind. Let's just continue with what is to be spoken about in this podcast.
Yeah, about the redesign. Just now we're talking about
the
Scarlet Sisters redesign. Yeah.
I think we technically Reimu does appear at one point in the last part of the in the conclusion of the fourth part. She doesn't really have much of a redesign. Actually, now that I think about it,
I think that's because she's not important.
Warugaki doesn't really redesign most of his characters though.
But she redesigned Tenshi and Yuka.
Yuka doesn't really get that much of a redesign because
Yuka gets a redesign. For me, she gets a lot of redesign.
Not really.
She doesn't look like that at all.
Not really.
Like Yuka is like she's like menacing, and then she's large.
No.
I think she's larger than
It's only
Tenshi.
a very small redesign in terms of like just adding a menacing air to her. But in terms of like her clothing, in terms of
but she looks very large. But she looks very much like a Hulk.
We don't even know how big Yuka actually is in. No, we technically do, right? She does appear in like a few of the print works.
Yeah, we do. We do know how tall she is.
What I mean redesign,
I
mean literally like changes in her physical appearance, other than size, other than tallness.
Oh, so
in terms of clothing and
so you mean
like
okay? So
yeah,
saying. So you're saying she doesn't get as much redesign as Remilia and Flandre because
it's just a different interpretation of
what the fuck?
Yuka in general.
What do you mean by different interpretation? What about Remilia and Flandre?
Those are redesigns. Those are
you?
redesigns. Very big redesigns. If only because yes, they've changed from their original silhouette, their tiny child size.
What about Tenshi?
Tenshi was a redesign, yes. Tenshi has
Tenshi?
Different clothing. Tenshi.
What? No, everything for me, that's like, I think, to me, everything is like a redesign. Okay, let's see it. How should I say it? So, like, Warugaki, she's draw his own version of the characters to fit in the story. Like he wants Remilia to be like all powerful looking creature. So he draws Remilia in this way. And the same thing, and then he wants to draw Flandre as an innocent looking girl.
Innocent but sexy looking girl.
Innocent looking girl. Sexy. Remilia is also very sexy actually. Like he wants to draw, and then he wants to draw Flandre like a innocent-looking girl, and then that's why he draws Flandre in this way. And I think the same thing applies to Yuka. And yeah, I think like how he draws Yuka like communicates Yuka's role in that story very, very well. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have to say, I will go back and talk about Patchouli first, because I feel like Patchouli's design is also meant to be a joke.
Patchouli's design is, I don't know, because
it's also meant to be a joke.
But it is meant to be a joke based on, like, just, it's based on the the strongest interpretation of, like, of what, I guess what we know about her, what her traits are. Intelligence, and the fact that she's, I don't know whether it's canon that she's not the healthiest character, or at least she's not, physically fit.
But we know in the lore she's not fit at all. She's like, she gets sick a lot, and then she cannot change her spell properly, and that's why she lost in the game.
In that case,
the dialogue.
And
that's why she's done like this, and that's why I think, yeah, the design, like, so yeah, like Warugaki redesigned Patchouli for the sake of a joke.
For the sake of a joke, and that joke being the idea of how far you can go with the idea of Patchouli is intelligent, but she's also super sick, and thus he created this. But of course, from what I know, he might have also done it with the idea of the Fullmetal Alchemist reference to be in her design.
I don't recall there's a character who only sits and then is very
not
physically
really
weak.
Just sitting, just the aesthetic, like the blockiness of all the long threads.
Yeah, I know. Okay, those are like, I don't think that's like part of design. I think that's like the magic used in this doujin.
I mean, if you were to think of that way, sure.
Yeah. And then,
what else can we speak of about this doujin?
Do you have anything more to say?
You like the comedy of this first and second part. That one we know.
And then
we haven't really talked about
the third part, the Remilia and Kogasa's fight. That one got me.
That one was very funny because it is basically the ultimate power level gag. It's basically, look, here's Kogasa, who's super weak, and here's Remilia, who's the strongest vampire, because at one point in the fourth part, it does state that she's the strongest vampire. Somehow Kogasa still wins anyway. How is that possible? It's possible because
it's like the comedy. It's like, yeah, they set up the expectation for the readers. Like, we all know that Kogasa is like a very weak yokai, and Remilia is like the final boss in the game. So how they like gonna
how they gonna win? And they went through the funniest, to one of quite a very, okay, it's a very standard way of using Toho's vampires and what their weaknesses are. They're weak to sunlight, and they're weak to, if I remember correctly, flowing water as well. And rain is flowing water.
Vampires, well, depends. Some vampires, some people interpret. Okay, there's like millions of interpretations of vampire in media. I have read manga that says vampire doesn't afraid of sunlight. And I also read manga that says vampire doesn't need blood. And they only crave blood because they just want it. Like, it's like a wants for them, not like needs for them. Like, there's like millions of interpretation, and from what I know, in the most original, is it original? No. Okay, I'd just say I didn't know that, like, the vampire's weakness to water is actually also a common interpretation. But I didn't know about that until like very late, until like a year or two, like 2 years ago. Because I watched Twilight, and then in Twilight the vampires doesn't afraid of water. And then in Twilight, all the vampires, they have their own superpowers, like the mutants in Marvel.
Yeah, I guess.
And their own unique superpowers. So yeah, there's like different different interpretation of vampires.
Yeah, I mean, vampire lore actually changes like quite a lot during the as the years progressed. Vampires, they suck blood. Suddenly they're scared of garlic. The cross. They don't like the cross. They don't like water. They don't like the sun.
And then some of them. Oh yeah, and then Dracula. I think Dracula is actually quite weak in the novel. Because like Van Helsing, he described like Dracula only has the strength of 20 men. That doesn't look very strong.
20 men though. That's quite a lot of people.
Yeah, but
20
men. Compare that to other characters' super strength, which looks like very limitless. I say it's not very strong. Like stated that Dracula do have a limit to his strength. They're just like 20 men.
I mean,
every other super strength characters that looks very powerful. That looks
other
unlimited.
Characters. What do you mean other characters? In what sense?
Every other superheroes with super strength.
Dracula versus superheroes of our time.
Yeah,
that's a very bad comparison, though, because Dracula was written at a time where we didn't really think about superheroes. So the strength of 20 men was really strong at the time. Like, on the basis of, like...
Yeah, but compared to...
No, you have to understand the sensibilities of the past and the sensibilities of now. Back then, we didn't really...
but I'm comparing it...
You're comparing it to the past and now, and I'm telling you the past and now...
So I'm saying it doesn't age well. Okay, it just means that it doesn't age well.
Not that it doesn't age well. It ages very well on the basis of the fact that Dracula is fighting against humans. There was no superhero in Dracula's story. Yeah, and within
that universe,
there is no superhero in Dracula's story. So Dracula is technically very strong. 20 men. I wouldn't be surprised if he could smash your head with one punch. Or something like that. If he ever thought to punch you rather than bite you on the neck. If he were to be pitted with a superhero from the modern world, he would not stand a fucking chance.
He's gonna die.
However, if he's just pitted against humans, the stakes are raised very high, if only because of the fact that we know it is described that Dracula is physically strong as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Who will win, Dracula or Remilia?
Of course Remilia is going to be the fucking win. No, that is such a stupid comparison as well. Jesus. That's a pretty stupid comparison, man.
Yeah, but I was thinking, like, why are we suddenly talking about vampires?
I thought you were the one who started talking about Dracula has a strength of 20.
Yeah, why am I suddenly talking about vampires?
Yeah, and Flandre are vampires. And I guess it was fitting.
Yeah, fuck them.
What the fuck?
Well, okay, anyway, what are we talking about just now? Like vampires, and then anything we have to talk about?
Have you talked about the serious part of the story, or are you just not interested in talking about the serious part of the story? The narrative.
So what do you want to talk about in this serious part of the story? It's like, I can say it's a harem.
Not this. I mean the fourth part, the second half. The narrative
it's a slice of life.
It's causing a bit of havoc.
Oh, you mean the fourth part? The fourth part is the most... It's the second most unmemorable story for me.
Pretty shitty.
The most unmemorable story is the fifth part. Because, okay, so like I said, I enjoy the first and second part because they're mostly, I enjoy their comedies. And then the second part, there is the Kogasa and Remilia fight. And then the introduction of the SDM. And then the fourth part, I don't remember I have anything I like. And same with fifth part. But at least I know what happens in fourth part, but I don't know what happens at all in fifth part. So I say fourth part is the second most.
I value the fourth part quite a bit. If only the second half of the fourth part, which is the part that is more serious, It has more stakes and stuff.
When you say second half, which point are you referring
Probably
to?
Seiya appears on Seiya.
Oh, so the part where Seiya just appears and kidnaps Kogasa.
Breaks Kogasa. Flandre gets super mad. 4 of a kind. Big danger. Oh no. Ooh.
Kage no Bushi no Jutsu.
I have not read Naruto in fucking years.
So
I like
okay.
the narrative. I like the narrative flow of it. I like the. It was actually. I like the narrative flow of it. I like the pacing. I like the raising stakes. I like how it is. I like the composition. I like how it's drawn. I like the drama of it all. It was done, in my opinion. I'm not an expert, mind you. I'm just a customer of of his work.
Holy shit!
I find it pretty good. I like it. I like the pacing. I like the art. I like how he I like the narrative. I like how he writes how the other characters are trying to solve the problem. I like the characterization.
There's a lot of
It's really good. There's a lot. I actually don't really see any problem with it. I suppose in the grand. No, actually, it is a bit static. If I remember, there is no technical battle in a sense. There's no technical battle. There's technically no battle. That's the way of saying it. There is a crisis.
There is a battle in here,
but there is no fight.
Yeah, there's a crisis. You think a fight is needed in every crisis?
No, in a sense, there could have been more movement, but at the point in time when there could have been more movement. But from what I remember, there's not that much movement.
What do you mean by movement?
Most of the important characters usually stay in one place, or even if when they move to another place.
No, but they are trying to deal with the crisis. They're trying to deal with the disaster.
They're trying to deal with the disaster. The disaster is the fact that Flandre has, I guess, broken down. She has summoned 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
In which case, there are technically 3 additional enemies.
And she's there.
And the weirdest thing is,
the whole maze is in danger.
Why? No, there could have been a fight.
Oh no! It's actually the whole world is in danger. I think if they don't stop Flandre, that she will destroy the barrier, barrier.
But in my opinion, there could have been a fight. Whether or not there should have been a fight, that's a very different question altogether. Because we don't know what will happen if there was a fight. Would it be better? Would it be paced better? That's the question.
I don't think a fight is necessary.
A fight is not necessary, but there was potential to have a fight. Whether or not it's a good fight or not, that's a different question. We could have had one. Based on the idea of Flandre has 4 of a kind. There are 3 other Flandres.
Has
4 of a kind.
Yeah.
There are 3 other Flandres, including her normal self.
That's total of 4.
There are 3 other Flandres. We could have seen maybe a fight with one of the Flandres. However, the reasoning as to why there is no fight, I guess, is acceptable. There is a crisis. They don't want to be there, and besides, Pacioli was going to seal Flandre. It is in the narrative that she was supposed to seal Flandre if she ever were to break down.
Remida is originally going to seal herself together with Flandre. She was originally
I don't remember that part of.
Yeah, she said she wanna do that. That she wants to seal herself alongside Flandre because she feels bad about it and she wants to she doesn't want Flandre. I think she say because she doesn't want Flandre to be all alone in that abyss.
Lonely Flandre. I guess that's a double goal from Rebellia, but in the end, Pacioli is almost going to seal Flandre. She actually does seal it. The gate that was supposed to bring Flandre into and was going to seal. Rebellia just breaks.
Wait, hold on, Jordan. I think your connection isn't that good. They keep cutting out.
No.
Yeah. So could you repeat just now? I hear you say something about Pacioli.
Pacioli is
And
supposed to
then
seal.
Gate,
Pacioli
I
is
think.
supposed to seal Flandre. With
Yeah,
something
she's
like,
supposed
with
to
some
seal
sort of a
Flandre.
gate.
Yeah, with the Fullmetal
The
Alchemist
Fullmetal
gate.
Gate. The gate closes on Flandre, so technically she has been sealed. I think maybe there's some other procedure, but Remilia just comes by and just forces it open, and that was some cool ass shit right there. Because that was. I mean, it's like a huge show of strength.
Ah, okay.
That was one of the highlights.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it.
One of the highlights of the.
I'm trying to
How
find
did you
it.
forget it? It was so.
I don't
cool.
remember.
Yeah, amazing.
I don't remember that part. The part that Remilia forced open the gate.
Forces the gate open. Yeah, look at that. I'm so strong.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, she forced open the gate, and then yeah, it's not that memorable for me.
I mean, are you
but
sure?
Remilia is powerful. She's supposed to be
Are
powerful.
you sure it's
So I'm
not
not
that
surprised.
like memorable? I mean, look at the
Sure what?
look at the construction. Look at the panel composition. Look at the angle. Look
Yeah.
at the sheer. Just look at how it's shot. Let's call it shot because I'm in film school, so technically I use the word shot quite a bit. Look at how it's shot. Look at the coloring. Look at the shading.
Yeah.
All of it connotes power.
Well,
Lots and lots of power. Look at the cracks. Whoa, just bare hand.
no. I don't think it conveys a lot of power. It doesn't look memorable for me. Like, before you send this to me, I don't know this happens. Before you tell me about Remilia forcing open the gate, I don't remember this happens at all. So it doesn't work for me, I guess. It doesn't work as much for me.
A lot of things don't work for you when they work for you.
But Sakuya is like, she's like, oh, she's like her face at the back, and she's surprised that Remilia can do that.
It's just a gag. It's a little gag at the back. Even then, it's just in the background. So the main focus is still Remilia forcing the gate open.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't work for me, unfortunately. Like Warugaki, he can draw a lot of action that's like very powerful. Like when Warugaki wanted to draw a punch, like he can convey it really well, and I usually remember them very well. And then, but this one doesn't work as well.
That's pretty sad, I guess. But I suppose it is still for me. It's still at the very least pretty memorable. Or even if you, even if you can't remember it, at the very least has a pretty big effect on you, on first viewing.
Yeah, it has big effect on you, but it doesn't have big effect on me even on my first like a year ago. And then
what's next?
Yeah, Remilia just kicked the gate ass. She technically fight the gate.
No. Gate is sad. Gate has been destroyed.
Yeah, so Remilia's powerful. It's very, very powerful. To say, she's still very powerful even though she loses to Kogasa.
No, actually, if I remember correctly, I reread the third part. She technically didn't lose because she is strong enough to actually withstand the attack. However, she faked a loss because she wanted Flandre to have someone to love her. I guess, if I remember correctly. Something
really?
like that.
That
happened, but it wasn't. It was quite a long exposition scene. I actually forgot about it as well until I reread it, like in more detail.
No. Actually, check it. Are you sick?
Are you literally gonna check it in the? Are you really gonna check it in the middle of the podcast? You fucking check. You love checking shit in the middle of podcasts, and I don't know why.
Do you know I've been checking the doujin throughout this whole podcast? There's like a lot of mouse click.
This fucking guy. Look at what he's doing. Ugh. Don't be like him, kids. Be like me. Lazy.
Okay, let's see.
Ooh, amazing. Then again, Warugaki has quite a nice collection of doujins.
No, wait. I think that
Collection.
Remilia's actually lost. She actually lost.
I don't think so. I do recall that part.
Yes, she actually lost. Like Sakuya just tells her that the rain shouldn't be.
Speaking honestly, milady,
Okay, fine.
Milady also put on a rather fine performance. That magnitude of rain should have been no great matter, right? That can't be helped. I've never lost before after all. That basically just means it was all an act. I don't know about the part with the sun, though. It was just the part with the rain. Whether or not it was the sun that also hurt, it's a bit hard to say.
But didn't her clothes get ripped off? Even with the rain?
If you think about it like this, because in the scene, Ramilia says she has never lost before, so she doesn't know how it feels, how to act like she loses.
Okay, so why did she fake her loss? Why does she just pick? Why does she do it right now with Kogasa, but not the previous boyfriends?
I don't really know though. There must be more to it.
And then, like, it's clearly that Ramilia wants to fuck Kogasa.
I suppose.
So it's really an act.
I do believe the losing was an act. I don't know whether or not she likes Kogasa.
Is the losing really an act?
Do you not understand how to read, like, in between the fucking lines?
Yeah, I know. I seen what you read. I seen what you read, but you know, like what, and again at this last panel that Ramilia called Kogasa her husband.
The question of
so does that really mean they fall in love? Like she also fall in love with Kogasa.
We could also assume that Ramilia is just playing around. I mean, it'd be very nice to tease people, to tease her.
No, after I read like 50 million harem manga, I cannot see this as just playing around, because that's playing around is a common trope in harem as well. They will use playing around as an excuse to get near to the MC.
I don't really know though, because I am not convinced that she actually does like Kogasa that way in the third part. Or maybe she does on the basis that she believes Kogasa can protect Flandre the best, in a sense. So maybe it's more of admiration rather than, actual love, I'd rather say.
So you're saying that she thinks that Kogasa is very determined in helping out
Flandre.
Flandre, and so that's why she pretends she lost.
No, that's why she pretends to be.
No.
That's why she is more, I guess, like, amorous with Kogasa. Like, the part where you said she hugs her and calls her husband and stuff like that. I don't know whether or not she thinks of her as an actual, like, good husband or anything like that. Even though Kogasa is not a guy, and they still call her husband, it seems more...
Flandre also calls her a husband.
Because Flandre is more, I don't know, more carefree about this kind of stuff. And maybe seeing how Warugaki has characterized and made the backstory for Flandre, it seems more like Flandre doesn't really know relationships in general. There's also the fact that, as you said before, Kogasa looks like a guy, so we could actually assume that maybe she thinks she sees the aesthetic as well. Maybe she thinks Kogasa is a guy.
No. Flandre is the one.
You know what? You stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right the fuck
sex.
there. You know what I hate?
No.
Shut the fuck up.
What the fuck?
You know what I hate about how you answer my, like, how you try to rebut the things I say? You just say no. What the fuck is that? No. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, my entire point is like thrown out of the window. Fuck you. At the very least, there's a better way of saying this. You could just say, I don't really agree. No, you just say no. Oh yeah, I'm wrong, right? Yeah, sure. Fuck you then. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave the podcast because my points never really fucking work. Jesus Christ, man.
Fine, I'll just say I don't really agree.
Okay. Good. You don't agree. In that case, I will nod my head and go, okay, my point has been heard. It may be valid. However, you do not agree to its validity. You have another point that you think is valid. Whether or not I agree that the point is valid.
I don't really
agree.
If
you said no, then just... If you said no, it's like throwing away the point.
It's second nature. It's like kind of like second nature to me because
it is also second nature for you to say guess instead of guess. Yes.
Guess.
Do you know
But guess is guess.
G-U-E-S-S.
Guess is
G-U-E-S-S is guess.
Yeah. But G-S-S is... What about G-A-S?
G-A-S is gas. There's a ass. Gas. Guess gas. Guess gas. Guess gas. Guess gas. Guess.
That's very...
Guess. Gas. Guess gas. Guess gas.
Alright, guess. I can master this.
It's not that fucking hard! Do you know? It's literally a fucking running joke between me and my friends on the server who have heard the podcast. They heard how I got so angry with you saying guess that they make the joke in the fucking server. Why can't they shut the fuck up about it, please? Guess. It's guess.
What? It's guess. I cannot say properly.
Stop, please, don't hurt me.
Okay, anyway, we go back to
what do you just you have disagreed with something.
Yeah, I forgot why I disagreed.
You disagree with my notion of why Flandre still sees Kogasa as a husband, even though Kogasa is a guy. I mean, he's a girl. So he's a girl. Even at the time.
Okay, so I say Flandre is already aware Kogasa is a girl up to the end. And then, since Flandre calls her a husband, she changed her sex at the end of the fourth part. And then she already told Kogasa that she's aware Kogasa is
actually,
girl.
No, if you say like that, then it would make more sense for me to explain it like this. Flandre still calls Kogasa a husband because she doesn't understand because maybe, as we know, she has been in the basement for 500 years. It is in the doujin that she has been in the basement for 500 years. We can very easily assume she doesn't understand the idea of, even though you're a girl, you can still get a wife. Rather, she still thinks, oh, even if it's a girl that I'm marrying, I'll still call her a husband. In that sense. Because maybe she doesn't understand better. She's uninformed about
But what about Remilia?
She could actually just be playing along as well. Because as we know, she wants to make Flandre happy about this kind of stuff. So maybe she's also playing along with it.
Okay, is this clarified
in the doujin, but it is series? But there's you could make fucking interpretations based on all the evidence that you have and based on your interpretation of what is happening in the doujin. Whether or not it is valid, whether or not it is correct interpretations is a different question. In which case there's
then what about turning Kogasa into a boy at the end?
In that case, I mean, it has been joked about quite a few times in the fourth part that Flandre does want to make...
No. That's like the final joke in the fourth part.
But it has been...
The final gag
in the fourth part is just the... If you actually look away... If you look in the bigger picture, it's not really about Kogasa becoming a guy. It's about Flandre wanting to mate with Kogasa. And of course, the best way to do that is to turn her into a guy and give him a dick. Straight. Sex. Yeah.
Wait, is that the reason?
No. If you think about it, you could assume that is, I guess, the most interesting way of saying it.
Let's just say I care more. Like I take care more about the words they say.
Flandre wants to mate with Kogasa.
Instead of just making
knowing how Flandre is still think of Kogasa as a husband, thus a guy, and maybe we could also extend our interpretation of Flandre's uninformed nature about husbands and wives, husbands and husbands. To say that maybe she also, when it comes to, I guess, sex, the standard way of doing
Can
it.
you rephrase it? Like you make it like very confusing for me.
Flandre turns Kogasa into a guy. Flandre has multiple times in the fourth part, before the part where she turns Kogasa into a guy, that she wants to mate with Kogasa. Flandre wants to mate with Kogasa.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's a subplot.
We could assume that's time for. Let me rephrase that, because I just realized there's a very big connotation to the word mate. Mating usually connotes. It does connote sex, but it's usually connoting sex to have children. And of course, two girls can't just have children. So it would make sense for Flandre to at least find a way to get Kogasa a penis, a male genitalia, to properly mate rather than just have lesbian sex. And that's why Flandre gives Kogasa a dick. You could assume that. Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like they are going to mate. In the end. They look like it's like they're going to have a foursome. From what we could tell, that is technically what happens. We don't see it, of course. It literally ends right there. But we could have. No, wait. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Okay, I may not agree with you, because if you look at the last page, Remilia say that can they be a little more quiet? So I think they are actually having sex in the end.
When the hell did I not agree that was happening? I thought I said, yeah, that is what happened. They have a fivesome.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it.
They have a fivesome. Maybe Kogasa dies, but she comes back in the fifth part, so she didn't die from overuse.
What do you mean by they didn't die from overuse? Who can die from a fivesome?
That was a joke. I wasn't saying she was actually gonna die.
Okay. Anyway, so you think Flandre changed? Well, Flandre calls Seiya. She threatened Seiya to change Kogasa's sex.
Yes.
So that they can make like a proper, like, between a guy and girl.
Yes, that was what happened. That was how she got Kogasa to turn into a guy. Because Seiya used her power of reversing to reverse her gender. Whoa. That was smart. Wow.
See, I have questions. I don't know how to say it. I think. So, let's see. So why do you think Kogasa call? Oh, okay. You answer that. Like you think Flandre called Kogasa husband because she doesn't know much about the world.
She doesn't know much.
She isn't aware about
the idea.
She isn't aware of homosexual and gay marriage.
I guess, or the very least, the idea that there can be a wife and wife and a husband and husband. It's always husband and wife, I guess. We could assume to be that. Whether or not it's correct or wrong, up for interpretation.
Wow. Okay, sure, that's your interpretation.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's wrong.
Sure, but let's say I do not agree with you.
Then what is the explanation?
Well, because... Well, I just say... Because... Wow, there's... In Toho stories... Like, in Toho story, we know there's only girls. So... There's only girls.
Dude!
Just like,
in the second part of the story, Yoki literally appears. There are men in the story.
Yeah, but like, the idea that Toho... Like, they're mostly girls, even so... Like, the most of characters are girls, even though we have seen male characters a million fucking time in the official manga, and then there's in the official manga, and then yeah. So it's like I think the husband thing is more of a joke.
I don't agree with the interpretation.
And there's also the harem, and then there's also the harem-esque story, the harem-like story for the third and fourth part.
Okay. What of them?
Because usually there's harem story. Because harem stories usually have a male MC and surrounded by girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also remember that we also talk about Kogasa design, like how she becomes less
girlish, more.
She looks less like a girl. Yeah.
Manly.
Yeah.
Manly Kogasa.
So I think the husband thing is more as a joke. And then I don't think Remilia is really playing along.
I find your interpretation a bit lacking. Then again, my interpretation is also based on a lot of trying to.
Yeah, but I also don't trust. I also don't trust your interpretation, because like I don't think there's any evidence.
I mean, it would make sense character-wise in terms of how you make a character who is very naive, like Flandre. Very naive, very uninformed about the outside world, because as I've said, she was under the basement for 500 years. It would make a lot of sense to make her a character who conforms to the idea of it's still a marriage between a guy and a girl, thus husband and wife. Even though if it's a girl and a girl, we still use the word husband. And even then, I would come to believe she also might have actually said husband, because she has put herself under the moniker of wife. Maybe she thinks if she gets with Kogasa, she is the wife. Thus, thus Kogasa is the husband. And that's why she uses that term, rather than saying, my wife.
But for actual gay couples, like say between two women, they will call each other their wife or their girlfriend, and this applies to.
But does Flandre know that?
Flandre know that? We don't know. It's not
mentioned at but you can very easily come to the notion that she doesn't. Living in the basement for 400 years.
Oh, yeah, and also Kogasa is wearing the husband's, the bridegroom's outfit in the marriage
Which I guess actually just means it's because Kogasa has been put under.
That means Kogasa is a guy. Kogasa is actually secretly a harem protagonist all along. He's secretly a harem protagonist all along. Oh my god,
Kogasa is best character.
Oh yeah, so in case you don't know, the audience doesn't know, Kogasa is Jordan's favorite tall character.
My favorite.
Yeah, and that's why he likes this doujin, because it's about his favorite characters.
This doujin was the reason why I like Kogasa so much. I swear to God, yes.
Really? Is that yes, what? Really?
It is. I literally never really cared about Kogasa until this doujin appeared, and I was like, man, Kogasa is such an interesting character. I was looking for more, and that was how I started liking Kogasa a lot.
Well, okay, so you found your favorite characters through doujin.
I learned a lot about the characters through the doujin. Or the very I got exposed to them before I researched them and got to know their canon personalities and stuff.
Oh. Okay, so we have been going for like 1 hour and 35 minutes. Do you have any more to cover?
Anything else to cover?
Do you have any more to cover?
Anything else to cover? This is a great doujin, by the way. The series.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this episode actually. I enjoyed this episode, even though I don't really enjoy the doujin, which is cool.
This is a pretty okay episode.
And then, okay, well, beforehand, I want to say, yeah, let's just say unlike you, the doujins, the quality of the doujin doesn't affect my affection of the character as much. So yeah, like if I read, say, well, I see a great story about maybe mailing. I see a great story, a doujin story about mailing. It doesn't really change my affection for, like, it doesn't change like how I think for about how my affection for mailing. Like, I like the Toho characters based on their lore and their appearance and their lore. Yeah.
I mean, I guess, but I'm more artistically inclined, so I would usually like a character based on how much I've seen them and based on how people interpret them, either in their art, in the doujin stories they appear in, and of course in their lore.
So how people interpret them doesn't affect me as much. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then it seems that usually the popular Toho characters, they're usually like
can you give an example maybe for these popular characters you speak of?
No, okay, wait, we need to see. I need to check out. Okay, I need the data. I need to check out the Toho popularity poll. Like, because I think. Okay, no, I don't want to say. I don't want to say that. It's kind of. Okay, I'm checking it out right now. Let's see. Originally I was going to say that the characters, they are usually popular because they are usually in the stage 5 and stage 6 and extra stage. Originally I was gonna say that. I was thinking, no wait, I don't have reliable data to back this up. I need to look at the popularity poll first before I can say anything about the pattern between all the more popular Toho characters.
Should we fucking end the podcast,
I think
please?
there can be a pattern we can discern. No, we don't. But yeah, we can end here. I think we can end here.
We can kill it here.
But I can say that Kogasa doesn't rank very high in the popularity poll. What do you think?
People can like characters and stuff. I don't really care about the popularity.
I
don't care about the popularity poll. If that's what you're trying to ask. I don't care about it. It does make me happier if a character I like is slightly higher. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't change how I like or don't like the character.
Ooh. Sure thing. Like Clown Piece, what the fuck? Wait, what? Clown Piece is that low? I like Clown Piece.
No, why is Clown Piece so low?
Yeah, she's ranked 44 in the 2019 poll. What?
That's pretty shitty.
Okay. Fuck the poll. But I need to check. But there's a pattern I like to figure out. Okay, we can end here. Who's closing the show?
Are you? Am I? I'm asleep.
Let you do it. I'll let you do it.
Next doujin. Thank you guys for listening to this. Thank you guys for listening to this.
Hold on first.
What is it?
Yeah, about the next doujins.
You want to choose one.
I want to find the next doujin myself.
I'm
gonna choose it this time.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be the one to pick the doujin.
Ooh, scary.
Okay. So you may close the show.
Next doujin. Next time we. Wait, what the fuck am I trying to say? Shit. Fuck. I lost the script there. Thank you guys for listening.
So next
to Mosaics of Easter Wonderland, episode 7. Yes, 7 is 3 plus 4, or 2 plus 5, or 1 plus 6.
It's episode 6.
I thought you said 7 in the beginning. I heard a 7.
Really? I said episode 6.
Let's say it's episode 7. Totally a legit number. I scored an A in math, motherfucker. I know my numbers. It's 7.
It's episode 6.
7. Episode 6 then.
No, I checked.
Okay, since I'm so good at math, I shall concede and say it is episode 6. Yeah. episode 6. Thank you guys for listening to episode 6 of Mosaics of Eastern Wonderland. This is your host, Jordan, and my co-host, Kodo. Yes. Yes.
Kodo.
Signing off. See you fuckers
Goodbye.
in the future.